Welcome to our January 18th Executive Board meeting. We have Manhattan Community Board 11. My name is Xavier Santiago. I'm the chair of Community Board 11. This meeting is called to order at 6:38 p.m. tonight. We're joined by District Manager Skane. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. CB11 members, if you have any questions or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. You should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. Members attending via Zoom can find the raise hand button by first clicking the participants icon to access the panel where that button is located. If you have any technical issues, please relay your difficulty to the staff in the chat. The chat should not be used to discuss or pose any questions, agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic of the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subject on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. We will now take attendance.
Meeting members, when I call your name, please answer present. Jose Altamirano. Stephanie Arroyo. Dan Brija. Present. Rosa Diaz.
Present.
Jessica Elliott.
Present.
Asher Rodriguez.
On the way.
John Green. Isam Malave. Nelson Rama.
Present.
Claudia Perez.
Present.
Xavier Santiago.
Present.
Isaac Scott. Present. You have quorum.
The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and was posted on the website's meetings calendar. If there are no objections, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Board members, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. Approval of the last meeting minutes. Our minutes from last board meeting were distributed ahead of time. If there are no objections, we'll adopt the minutes in that meeting. Board members, if you object to adopting the minutes, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the last board meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CB11 website. Announcements. Are there any announcements? Seeing none. Next, we'll move on to our presentations and discussions. We have a presentation discussion regarding New York's legal right to shelter from Legal Aid Society. No show. Would you be so kind as to promote me to panelists, please? I couldn't find the link. Okay. We will park that for right now. Next, we have review committee recommendations regarding land use application N240010 ZRY and N240011 ZRY City of Yes for Economic Opportunity. Since Giselle is not here, do you want to kick us off on this? Or do you want me to go through?
On the city of Yes, Nelson.
Oh, Nelson, sorry. I'm sorry, you prepared.
How would you like me to go over this? Just read it or Jessica did some really good notes. I can read her notes.
If you'd like to go through the first review for the committee, would be great.
So yesterday at land use, we had a working group to talk about the recommendations that we put in on a spreadsheet. And then we took and we compared the economic development findings on the proposal. And then we had votes, we discussed it thoroughly. And then we have a working draft that we have in front of us right now. We were very fortunate that Jessica Elliott, our vice chair of CB11, so very, very good notes. And so if you like, I can read her notes or I could just read the draft because that's really what we're gonna be voting on. I can draft, okay. So for the first one, the proposal is to lift time limits to reactivating vacant storefronts. And we supported that position and we put modifications. It was a required community board review and vote on recommendation for reuse of non-conforming space if the 2-year period has expired. We took a vote and we supported that. Number 2 was simplify rules for business types allowed on commercial streets, and we supported that. No modifications. Number 3 was to expand opportunities for small scale clean production. We found that we did not support it, and then we added, requested modification of A, require ground floor accessory retail with any production use in a commercial zone. B, restrict production use to ground floor and below. C, restrict allowable square footage or require community board review for uses above a maximum square footage. For example, C1 and C2 above 3,000 square feet. And C4 through C7 above 5,000 square feet. Number 4, modernize loading dock rules so buildings can adapt over time. We supported. Require community board review and vote on application of reduced requirement for loading berths for existing buildings. We had some discussion, some of us were concerned about whether, that would make more, we would need a waste plan and stuff like that. But ultimately, we supported that. Number 5 was enable commercial activity on upper floors. We supported that. Number 6, simplify and modernize how businesses are classified in zoning. We supported that. 7 was clarify rules to permit indoor agriculture. We supported it with the requiring modifications, the requested modifications, require ground floor accessory retail for urban agriculture use in a commercial zone. Reduce allowable FAR for agricultural uses to be less than allowable FAR for residential uses, and to restrict agricultural uses involving controlled substances. Number 8 was give life sciences companies more certainty to grow. We supported that, and we requested that we require community board review and vote on recommendation for life science uses. Number 9 was support nightlife. And includes the dancing and live entertainment. We supported that with the following modifications: revise unlimited occupancy for C3 to C8 and M districts. Require nightclubs to abide by SLA procedures for the community board to weigh in on hours and noise. Number 10, we supported, which was creating more opportunities for amusements to locate. We don't think, like we said, that we'll have a Coney Island in our backyard, but it would be nice to, be able to have that within our community. Number 11 was enable entrepreneurship of modern rules for home-based businesses. We did not support that. And we, required notifications to residents for any home business creation and or expansion. B, require signage for all home businesses. C, provide traffic and hour limitations based on home business size. D, restrict co-op and condo unit combinations for home business expansion. Because we were concerned about units becoming offline because they would become more commercial as opposed to having residential where people could combine 2 apartments and, and take one offline. Number 12 was introduce corridor design rules that ensure businesses contribute to surroundings. We supported that. And A, preserve existing special district urban design rules. B, consider special requirements for formerly redlined districts where local culture is at risk for erasure due to legacy of disinvestment with required community board review and PDC public comment. Number 13 was reduce conflicts between auto repair shops and pedestrians. We sort of did not understand what that quite meant. We did not support it. We require analysis of current auto repair uses in the surrounding 2-block radius to determine and prevent oversaturation. Provide minimum distance requirements for uses such as schools, parks, and healthcare. Number 14 was encourage safe and sustainable deliveries with micro distribution. We did not support. We asked for the following modifications: require ground floor accessory retail and ground floor facade transparency for micro distribution uses. Restrict micro distribution uses to ground floor and below. Number 15 was to facilitate local commercial space on residential campuses. We supported that. And we require majority NYCHA resident engagement and approval for NYCHA campuses. And 2, require community board review and vote on application of non-residential uses on residential campuses. Number 16, create process for allowing corner stores in residential areas. We supported that. And we require CPC and City Council review and approval process in addition to community board processes. Number 17, rationalize waiver process for business adaptation and growth. We did not support. We require business standard and appeals review and approval. Number 18, create new kinds of zoning districts for future job hubs. and we supported that with no one requested.
Yes.
If I could just add, that we obviously reviewed and considered economic developments, positions, and I think ultimately decided to take our own positions where applicable because, I think we had the benefit of having George in our meetings at multiple occasions and, it gives a lot of information, but there was a lot of, discussion and conversation that took place, and which led to this, so it was not a very easy decision across any of these, but, just to add that clause.
Thank you. Are there any questions from committee members?
Yeah, I wonder if they could explain, number 11 a little more. That enable entrepreneurship with modern rules. So when you say you do not support on that side over here, which you help.
So what, it's not that we don't support entrepreneurship as a home-based business. The way that it was laid out is that, the businesses would increase to 49% with up to three or more, employees within a residential space. Currently, you don't have to advertise your business. You're not required signage or anything like that. So if I have a home-based business, and let's say I have a beauty parlor, and I'm using chemicals, right? That can seep into your apartment, you don't even know what's going on. If I have a daycare and I'm above you, and I have no restriction on hours, right? You could hear the kids, that can be a 24-hour daycare, and it could be 11 o'clock at night, and you're trying to sleep, and you just hear the kids running back and forth. So we did not support it as the way it's written now. We think they should go back and include signage so that people at least on that floor know that there's a business going on, what kind of business, understand that there's gonna be traffic and people from the public. Because if you have young children and you see new people coming in and out of a floor, you don't know what's going on. So that's why we did not support it as it is right now.
Thank you.
It won't.
Any other committee questions? So we're going to vote on these one by one, and then we'll present them to full board next. No, we don't need to. No, full board.
No, vote. If you want to vote tonight, you can, but you don't need to.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna change it or something.
No, we don't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, Borough Board went fine. We had to, and thank you very much, Jess, Nilsa, Jason, everyone involved, Angel. This facilitated my work at Borough Board this morning, which we spent about 2.5 hours going line by line. And including all the conditional statements, from the community board. And since there are no issues with this, I don't see any problems when this is presented to the body on Tuesday. So thank you very much for the hard work. You did that as well. Land use, it was a gargantuan lift, and Department of City Planning was informed that the moving of the dates and the goalposts back and forth was very confusing. They're gonna take that internal to make sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen in the future. Putting pressure where it shouldn't need to be applied. With that, I'm gonna move the committee, agenda along. We have committee chair reports, and Asher, I'd like to welcome you as our new youth and education chair. Those that, may not recall, and those members of the public who are attending, welcome. I'm gonna get you a pen, we'll have you sign in so we can have you present, so just give me a moment. Asher started as one of our youth members some time ago, and then came on as vice chair. And David Giordano wanted to be the pathway for promoting leadership and has been a fantastic mentor. Asher served on our Statement of Distribution and Budget Committee, took a lot on board, and now they've switched roles in that regard. David will still be an asset. And Asher, if you're cool, I'm gonna kick you off. We get to go first.
What? Okay.
Yeah, your committee chair report. It can be a simple summary of what you're gonna present at the body next Tuesday.
So basically, we didn't do much this meeting. We worked on our mission statement and David and I are pretty much in the end of finalizing that. It was originally really long, like it became like an essay instead of a statement. So now we've shortened it down to about, I think, 3 sentences. So we're gonna finalize that tomorrow, I think. And we also had a presentation from Children's Aid on the rebuild because they now have torn down the building and they're in the process. They showed us like some of the floor plans, which I'm pretty sure were final. And they're gonna start building once all the permits go through in the spring. And they said about 18 to 24 months from when they start building is when the big building will be done. So,
Any questions? No. Well, with that, welcome aboard. So we're gonna go to, district meets next week, so you don't have anything to report, so.
nope.
You go to culture itself.
Hello, everyone. We had a good meeting this month. It was really packed. We had Sage, Workspace present. This is their second location, but what I like is that they provide space for meetings and aside from that, they do like online, they help businesses with their online appearance, social media. And they started off as a small business. I still consider them to be a small business. They just expanded, but they offer, small businesses a lot of, resources, and they're close by. We had a presentation from Dr. Aponte. He is, I believe, the new, I don't know if it's president or, I know that he took over, yes, CEO of Borinquen Health Center. And, you know, he seems like just very excited to take on the new position and engage with Community Board 11. He's going to all the communities and introducing himself, which I think is nice. We had, Rafaela from East River Plaza come and pretty much just give us an update on any new tenants that were thinking of taking over Target. She said that there still is a lot of interest in the spaces at the mall, which is a good thing. However, they don't have, you know, yet someone who has like carried a lease or is starting a lease, for the Target space. But EchoDev is going to compile a list of, first a survey and then a list of things that maybe we wanna see there. We had Acacia Arts and Little Verde come by, and just give us an update as well, because they have a space that's gonna be used and they want the feedback of the community to see what best fits there. Or how they can use it to benefit our community the most. And we do have an action item. We're gonna present a letter of support to the naming of East Harlem as a cultural district. I think that's just the first step to, you know, getting some momentum around this idea, and hopefully, other people can start, you know, showing support as well.
Any questions? Good, environment, open space and parks.
Hey, everyone, apologies, I'm looking at my phone, so I can't do anything by memory. We had our normal, updates from our parks and, Randall Island Parks groups. Department of Sanitation will actually be in attendance this upcoming month in February. I was hoping to pair that with the IBO research, but it's not right, just not quite ready yet, so, we had, a presentation from Randall's Island Park Alliance for a follow-up grant for a grant that we previously had issued a letter of support for, sort of taking stock of their tree network and, forestry plan, so that they could, you know, manage the invasive species and, I guess, encourage, you know, the growth of natural trees and resilience and all that. They are basically, you know, continuing this through a second grant opportunity, to essentially put that plan into action. So the first grant was for the plan and this is for the action. And, you know, I think as always, one of the considerations is what is Randall's Island Park Alliance doing for East Harlem? And, you know, I think over the years, they've definitely gotten a lot better at that. And, you know, we spoke to, you know, the kinds of, you know, trainings that they would target towards East Harlem residents, that, you know, resources that would be coming through the grant, or, you know, located trees, you know, could find a way, to our neighborhood fabric. So we issued a letter, or we, made a motion, that passed unanimously to issue a letter of support for their second grant. And that is our only action item. We also had a presentation from We Act, about, you know, basically a lot of ideas that they have for, you know, resilience ideas or ways that we can, you know, mitigate some of like the heat issues and things that are impacting our neighborhood. And one of, you know, I think that's more of like an ongoing conversation to say like, this is what we're thinking about, and they have specific attention, you know, to Upper Manhattan, including our district, but what ideas do we have? So that I think will be something that we continue to discuss over the coming months. But the one idea that they did find a grant opportunity for and would like to get our support is for a bus shelter with a live roof on it that collects rainwater, and basically, you know, provides shade and, greenery in the neighborhood. And ideally, you know, the first implementation of that would be on an existing bus shelter, but that this could be a way to get bus shelters where the bus shelters don't currently exist. And could pair nicely with a future, I think, 2025 bid that DOT is making for bus station stops generally. So if we can get that included, that would be great, but that's just like one piece of a larger conversation of holistic management of these challenges. And we talked a little bit about Earth Day, and we decided, I think, that we're gonna do a fair, more of an Earth Day conference. So instead of bringing people in a room and talking for 4 hours, we're gonna just spend time outside and talk to each other and have booths and, you know, enjoy that open space that they have on that front patio, which is really what we all look forward to the most, I think, at the Earth Day conferences. So, and again, we'll be partnering with youth and education and surrounding that around their, like spring break, and the sort of environmental stuff that the D4 schools are doing, which is really exciting. And Museum of the City of New York actually just reached out a couple days ago, and they confirmed that they have reserved the space for us. So all I have to do is plan the event.
Great. Any questions? Okay. Moving on, housing, was anyone at housing? John? It's not here, so we'll do that. Human services.
We do not have quorum this month. We still had people traveling back from the holidays. I am too.
Xavier, John is on. Oh, fantastic. Yes. Hey, John. You have your committee chair report.
Thank you, Xavier. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry I couldn't make it there. I hurt my foot, so I stayed home. But I'm going to say our meeting this month was basically an appearance by State Senator Cordell Clear. She came to explain a couple of bills that are before the State Senate. One is will give tenants the ability to buy their building instead of it being sold out from under them by the landlord. And the other one is to prevent illegal evictions and to also, in the event of an illegal eviction, to get the person back in their homes as quickly as possible. That was basically the two items that was on our agenda this month.
Questions? Licenses and permits.
For the most part is back to normal. I think the cannabis application window kind of is closed for now. We did get one application, but they submitted nothing, so it was denied. We did have Sheriff Anthony Miranda come. Carlos had him come. We did a presentation, just mostly about like what they're doing to combat the illegal smoke shops. I know a lot of people are like concerned about those, and it's pretty simple. You can reach out to the board, or you could call 311. I actually recommend 311. I think you said last night, 311 works. If you call, you get if you use your computer, you get like a number and they give you a status update, and it tells you exactly what they went and did when they went there. So it's pretty effective. I mean, I know there are a ton of illegal smoke shops, so, and I know it's not, I think they're streamlining it more to get them closed faster. There's also the problem of closing them and them reopening, so they're on top of it, they're working on it, but, yeah, I mean, I would think right now, the best thing you can do is call 311, or you could call the board, but I'd go with 311. I think the board the board's gonna like call 311 for you, kind of, right? So just call them yourself.
Good, that's helpful. I think in the address, it takes about a week just to get one shut down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping they find a way to, get that done quicker. I mean, listen, there are rules and regulations to everything. But, sometimes you just like know someone's doing something wrong and they should stop. We're all adults here, like, and there's no excuse, like, I didn't know I was breaking the rules. Like, you're breaking rules, so we'll see.
Yes,
And
Jessica.
if I could just add, I think everyone should, and we should reiterate this as much as possible, like, all other neighborhoods call 311 all the time. And it helps to get things done, and I feel like I've heard in other community meetings that people are afraid to call 311 because it sounds like we're complaining. And, and
It's the opposite. You actually stop, yeah, thank you for saying that. I would say, right, you're actually preventing something from growing, right? Like even as a licensed committee, when a place is a problem, there's a lot of 311s. If it's a renewal, we know to bring them in. And honestly, they're usually responsive and they're like, how can we make things better, whatever. So I agree, it's a good tool and you're not being a bad neighbor because you're doing that. You're actually being a good neighbor.
Gives us a lot of data points too.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Bill. All right, moving on, public safety and transportation. Do not have Jose here. Everyone that's on the committee. Fair to share. All right,
I mean, I'm on the committee. We talked about the bridge that they're rebuilding. And honestly, that's all I have for you. I can't remember everything else. There's a lot going on.
yes,
Budget is coming.
yay.
I'm done.
All right, wonderful. All right, I'm gonna move us on. That concludes our committee chair reports. We'll now go through our review of the draft agenda for upcoming full board meeting.
People public safety.
So we have a handful of action items with two liquor license applications right there, and then we have a cannabis application that you heard. One was, you see two that are approved, and the other was denied. Environment, Open Space and Park says their motion, made by Joel Jones and seconded by Rosa Diaz, to provide a letter of support to the grant application of community force management, as supported back by Jess. We'll scroll down. Mouse.
Doesn't work.
Um,
There we go.
So we're not gonna.
Yeah, public safety and transportation, two motions. One was dealing with opposing the relocating the M35 terminal from Lexington Avenue between East 125th and 126th Streets to East 125th Street between Lexington and Third Avenues. The motion passed unanimously. The other was a motion made by Carlos Diaz, which dealt with provide a letter to NYC DOT. The Diana Ayala expressing concerns and disappointment with the intended pedestrian safety structure on East 117th Street and Pleasant Avenue. Motion passed unanimously. Nico Deb made a motion to support designation of East Holmes a cultural district. The motion was seconded by made by Jenny Thompson, seconded by Christina Johnson, passed unanimously. And then finally, land use, landmarks and planning. We had the applications read into the record earlier. The city has economic opportunity. So that is our agenda. That should be generally straightforward. And, are there any questions with that? Nope. Beautiful. All right, moving us on to board member attendance for 2023-24 meeting session. Angel, you'd be so kind as to pull that up. Rosa, we're gonna do this together. Come on over.
Probably.
Sounds flexible.
Yeah, come sit.
I'm in the red.
So what we've started doing, if you, everyone recalls, if you look, come sit next to me. This is a check-in moment, right? When you hit four, you're at risk of removal. One of the things we discussed, I want to reiterate, as we shape the etch a sketch and starting here in January. Every chair, please, you all have access to this sheet. You see it. And when it's highlighted red, that person's at risk, but this gives you, we're charting from September. So if you can see, if you scroll up, I think we only have, right?
Just the one in red so far, I put you on the chart, but if you look at the other months, you'll notice that people are, missing 2 or 3 in just 4 months so far. January hasn't been updated we haven't had the January full board yet. But we can go by committees once you're ready.
So you have here, this is the full board. If you have Chaudhry is moved because he was removed. But again, this is, the secretary will be checking in on this. I recommend within, when we get to your committees, to do the same. Rosa will check on this. If she sees someone at 3, she's gonna reach out to that individual. She'll CC myself, Angel, and Jess to let us know. If it's a committee, that's at risk, and again, you can check out, if you're, youth and education, Asher will check in and go right down and say, hey, David, you missed 3, 1 more, there's an issue. This is a preventative measure. Check in with your members. You have their phone numbers, you have their emails. Sometimes a simple text, a phone call, a nudge the day before. The statement going around, we're all adults, yes, but as we saw with Human Services this month, we didn't have quorum business going to be conducted, and that's a shame for the people who did show up. It's a deep frustration. I know coming off the end of the holidays, but again, all right, so we'll go to, through the committees, please.
I
This is-
misspoke earlier,
What?
it isn't Jihad had 4, it's Kareem Kauser, who's a current member, that's one.
Okay, so Kareem will have to be notified. And
There's
you'll
a
send
few, a
them,
few folks that have 3.
yeah, and you'll reach out to people who have 3 and let them know they're at risk.
District eight hasn't really met, we don't have any issues. I don't know.
So do this, hold on a second, Echo, so when you go through this, you'll just pop it up for us. At full board, pop it up for mine. That's okay. Throwing you into the deep end, it's all right.
This is. in-
Okay.
Wag your fingers.
Yeah. All right, so where we district needs, that's, hasn't really met, go on. Thank you for your patience, Angel.
But it's right here. You're gonna share your-
So you see here, you have, like, say, Mark Bogursky, he's at 3. Who else is that? Who's it?
No, Mark doesn't have that. Mark's doing,
Yeah.
April has 2. Alicia has 2, actually 3, I haven't updated January yet, she wasn't here on Tuesday. Morris has 2, Vinny has 3.
So with Eco
I
Dad,
think
Yes.
Alicia had mentioned to Eugene that she's starting a job at 8. So she'll probably be notifying the board that maybe she can't make
Yeah.
meetings at home.
yeah, we received correspondence to that. Thank you for bringing that up. But the others, letting them know, so committee chairs, check in on your tab for your committee. Give them a call, an email, CC the secretary, CC Jess, myself, and Angel, so we're in the loop. Yes, Ashley.
Even the excused ones, if it's excused plus the 2
It's
also.
still not, yeah,
Okay.
you're still not here.
Alright.
Now, if they had a qualifying disability and submitted their form, the ones who will be aware of it will be Angel and myself. Okay, they don't need to disclose, but they submitted it and they attended virtually,
They're present.
they will be
Yeah.
present.
Mm.
I will be notated. Now, Angel, do we have a tab for that when that happens?
It's noted as, we don't like that.
Okay.
One time this week.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay, does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Good, so we'll go to the next, we have environment, open space and parks.
We've got
Yeah.
January. I did let, Debbie know that she was at risk. And I guess now I have to let Link know.
So this is again, when we get to that 3 mark, give them a holler. Executive,
He's off already.
and let's see here. All right,
Is there a letter that you guys are already using to reach out to people, or should we just draft? one?
no, we don't have a formatted letter, but we can create a simple one, just letting those,
Yeah.
as an FYI. It could be that simple, you miss 3, 4, you can come, it'll be reported to executive 4 with you.
Debbie and I text a lot, so I just texted her and she's like.
Yeah,
"No."
I was, but that's what I was gonna do with Karim, but I don't know if you needed to know that I reached out to him on the record. That's 'cause it
Yeah,
sounds
so
like
if
you're
you
saying,
do, and you have that, you can just do a screen grab and just say, hey, I've communicated, something simple, or just send us an email. CCing all of us, and Rosa.
Well,
Yes.
if it's a text message, it's meant to be between me and the person, so I don't wanna screenshot it and send it.
Well, you don't have to screenshot,
Yeah,
as long
but
as
it's-
you send a follow-up email to us, CCing Kareem, then you've communicated, so we're in the know.
I'd rather just send the email to him and copy out.
Cool. Then
We
let's
did
do
this
that.
before,
Yeah,
this was.
just, but the reason I asked is because I'm sure that it won't, it'll happen again, so it's like, maybe if we have a letter that has some language that's consistent. On that, I could just
It could be
pull, I could just pull, something I can just pull and just send
copy
the
paste.
people, every time, and I don't have to
We
redraft,
can work up something, we can toss it in the executive file.
and I'm happy to help.
And I think anything like that, like usually it's kind of cold and like, I think people, freak out sometimes when they read it, like if it's too succinct and, right, yeah. So like, it's probably, even if we had that, it would probably also be a good idea for chairs to call or, reach out.
I'm saying maybe
Well,
like.
actually, I kind of want, I personally, I think that you should it should come across cold, because it's like you're at the point of removal.
Right.
So I would like it to come across like, oh, Isaac didn't write this, he sent me something that was like,
Automated.
yeah. So they
So-
know, because when I write, but if they get something like that, then they know that probably came from the office.
And we'll work on something and put it in the executive Google Drive.
So as chair, we're reaching out to people that are at risk. So once they already have 2 absences, we're reaching out to them and letting them know you're at risk, or
At 3.
At 3 is when we're- okay.
On the block.
Do we pass youth and education already? Can I look at that? Okay.
No, good.
Okay.
Any questions?
At 3 we go, it's fine.
Yes, but you should check in, you should check this sheet on a regular basis after you're
Yeah.
done. Yeah, and if after 2, if they're at 2,
This early.
reach out.
yeah, because at 3, we're bringing them to here, right? At 4.
It's
Hold on, hold on.
yeah.
Gotcha.
And I think just for the people who are at 2, just so it's not, we're calling everyone all the time, like, just bring it up every time in your meetings, like, make it a thing that we talk about every month.
Yeah.
Like, this month,
Yeah.
a couple people are at 2,
Yeah.
and, we don't have to get yourself on.
I would love to do that.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Okay, let's move along then to housing.
Wait, C is canceled, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there was no quorum, right?
Agenda.
So I have a question.
So shouldn't that be,
Don't whoever wasn't there for quorum, shouldn't they be considered absent? They're like almost getting like.
they're the reason that we don't have the
But
meeting?
Angel, there was nothing for the agenda, correct, for those cancellations?
No, if there wasn't, so I need to check with these guys why it's noted as canceled. Because if it was a matter of there not being quorum, then it should be indicated as no quorum.
Correct.
If we knew ahead of time that we weren't gonna have a meeting, then we're canceling. Typically, that's when we go out of the agenda.
That happened with both of those
Yeah.
cancellations.
And there's a problem there.
Yeah, so I recall one of them being canceled because there wasn't anything to discuss that month, but if you could circle back to us with that, Angel.
We'll see on the top, it says no form and December.
But he's saying he needs to double check with them.
Okay.
So it's your name is in,
Nelson, you had a question?
No, I was
The
just,
rest for.
I was gonna piggyback off of what Adam was saying. I know that we're keeping attendance, obviously, for our meetings, but if people have actually showed up for a meeting that got canceled because of quorum, does it make sense for at least the chair or to submit a list of the people that were there and then put, and, like, almost like a sheet when we cancel a meeting, that,
These
these
people.
people are here, the meeting started at 6:45. After 15 minutes, we let everyone know that in 5 minutes, we're gonna cancel the meeting. At 6:50, 20 minutes after the meeting was scheduled to start, the meeting was canceled due to lack of quorum. But I think somewhere along the line, even if it doesn't count officially as, there should be some documentation that's, who's actually showing up.
Hold on to them, I have,
So
John has
like I was explaining before, if you show up to the room and don't achieve quorum, it should be indicated there as no quorum and all the attendance is recorded.
Okay.
If you show up to the room and it's indicated as canceled, that's a mistake. Typically, if we know ahead of time that we need 6 for quorum and 6 people have called out, and enough people have called out that we know we're not gonna get 6, that's canceled.
Okay.
Okay, so
That
let
makes
me,
more sense.
you'll be,
they should still be counted as absent. There would have been a meeting, they called out to say they couldn't come, so there would have been a meeting if they all could come.
But we then, if it's canceled, you don't know if the others who would have shown up would have. But let's find out what John has his hand up, so we can address this. John?
Thank you. The September meeting was no quorum, and we received notice that the November, December meetings were canceled. So
For why?
Do you recall why, John?
basically, actually, there was the people who were supposed to show to discuss an item in November couldn't make it, so there was nothing to meet for. Now, and also, I believe the December meeting was canceled because I believe that people couldn't, not enough people could make the meeting, I believe. But I will double check that and get back to you.
All right, so we will circle back on this. So if I'm understanding correctly, November was canceled because the presenter could not attend and there were no other agenda items.
Correct.
December, you believe it was canceled because there was not enough to make quorum, correct?
But I will double check that and get back to you tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Asher?
My suggestion, kind of going off of what Adem said, is if we received enough emails that we might not make quorum, maybe send out an email to the whole committee and be like, hey, who was gonna be here? And then maybe that can help us distinguish a little better who was gonna show up in the first place.
I think let's get some information. Thank you for your comment. Let's get some information. We'll circle back on to this next month, once we have clarification. Let's go on to the next committee, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have a quick question. The names in red are people who are no longer here, or the people,
I think public members,
public members, okay, thank you.
at least from my committee, that's what.
Yes. Okay, Human Services.
Yeah, I think Karim is he's at 3 for this, so.
Alicia's at 4.
Lisa.
Oh, yeah, yeah, she's not.
She,
Now, okay, so remind me again, at 4, you removed, or what are we threatening you at 3? Coming up to
Chair's supposed to reach out at 3.
At 3. and
4,
at
they're
4,
brought
it's
to the
like
board.
what?
They're brought.
You gotta come
Yeah.
next meeting or so.
yeah.
Or you better come here and
So, yeah,
explain yourself.
Come
Because.
and shame yourself before the board.
Justify.
Nah.
So you can see right here, Raja resigned,
Yes, he did.
was removed.
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of people on that list anymore. This is, what month is this? As if this is, I guess it's the whole year, right? So we don't have, Jewel anymore, we don't have, Art anymore, we don't have Shuad anymore.
So that's why, I think Jewel, that's why it says NA for Jewel.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
Yes.
sense.
So the ones that aren't there have the NA.
Yes, yes.
So we'll reach out to Alicia to find out if she's going to
Yeah.
discontinue serving the board because of her new job.
And you
Just
said-
reaching out.
Okay, that's.
And you said Raja resigned.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, next. Have Candy. Missed 4. So Jason being away, we'll need to reach out. Next. Licenses and permits, Jordan Wright is no longer on the board. Loretta, so.
I mean, I can't reach out to, I don't know who she is.
I was about to say, I didn't know she. Said she showed up to one meeting late.
Farland.
Not applicable.
Late arrival, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rob,
I'll let you.
And he is early departure?
yes.
Okay.
Trying hard. Bathroom, wait.
All right, so we'll get you the contact for Loretta and.
I'll email her.
Beverly and Farland. Okay, next.
Acronyms.
Okay,
Public safety,
is that Claudia? Claudia, Sage. Carlos.
so you'll need to reach out to them as well. Claudia's for.
I'm right here.
I'm sure she's. aware.
So reach out to them and let's see if we can pick this up on attendance. It's because there's a lot that it's populated for a specific reason. To give the perspective and points of view, we need to represent this community when it comes to public safety transportation. A lot of people are.
Here for that one. But November, I wasn't in the city at all. That's why I didn't make the November meeting. And, I was dealing with family issues in December, and those are my two.
No more.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's it.
No more.
No,
Okay.
no.
Let's move on to the next. Youth and education. Annie's at 3.
And Sage.
Sage is at 3. So I'll leave it with you to reach out, just as a
Okay.
reminder.
Sage.
Angel, is there anything you'd like to add?
No.
So you'll just need to, when we have executive, if you see things like that,
I
bring it
don't,
up.
I don't think I have Annie's email.
We will make
It's in the,
the G drive,
Yep.
contact list.
If you can't find it, it's on the G drive.
So if full board, when you go through the role, just the secretary report, just give a brief,
that's why I got
basically
moved
what we
out.
just did, and then I can help you with that.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to speak. Okay, we're gonna move along to old business. We have our committee chair responsibilities, and Angel wanted to take a moment to say thank you for the work doing this, putting it together. Comments were put in, they were either accepted, or if they were redundant, or were removed. And does anyone have opportunity to look at this? I know Jess and I did, and a few others took a look and just like, oh, so go ahead, Jess, you have a question?
Yeah, not, I mean, Angel, did you want to say anything about it? No, I think, I can't remember if we did this last time, so stop me if we did, but, I think it's worth talking about the resources that are available to us that make it really easy if we use them. So like the agenda planning document, I have a meeting the week before my meeting, every month with Khalid, and like any emails that come through, I'm not relying on Khalid to translate that to the draft agenda, the Google spreadsheet or whatever that we have. But I'm filling in for my benefit and also to manage like too much information month to month. Yeah, if you could pull it up, that would be great. And then that way we get on a call and we're like, well, here's our agenda. It's already on this document. And then we can discuss, oh, actually, this needs to move to the next month, or this is too many things on the agenda. And it becomes like a productive conversation. So like using this makes it really easy.
Yeah, I can't find that.
Yeah, so, yeah, and then, one of the things I've asked Khalid to do is to send me the meeting minute draft ahead of a meeting so that I have it when the meeting starts and we can start infilling it as we go. And I've been a little bit slow on my emails lately, but just a reminder to, stay on top of your emails for your committee. And that's, where you'll get the agenda topics.
So really, my recommendation, heartfelt, is that you make a habit of just keeping this tab open.
Yeah.
So keep a tab open of the agenda tracker and planner. Keep a tab open for your committee attendance. Even if you then minimize it off to one side, and then you just check in once a week. Twice a week, but if you see an email, pull it up. It will help you function better with your committee. If you realize you haven't gotten a response, you can fire away a response through the board allocated emails. If there's anything urgent, or if you're not getting a response back, and that includes beyond internal board matters, an external CBO or an intergov, an agency that's not being responsive, the staff and myself will help back you up if you're not getting a response. We'll give the nudge where needed. Oftentimes people get distracted, they forget about it, but then that's why we're here, is to kind of support one another in the board. Any questions with the chair responsibilities? Please take a moment to review it again. We said there would be time. I'd like to adopt this officially, but does anyone have any reservations before doing that? Because we've had ample time since it was presented months ago. Yes, Sandra.
I tried to not speak tonight because I don't want to just complain, but I have a couple. Been a bit disheartened at the lack of responsiveness to things that I've been sending to the board leadership, and the executive committee in particular, about minutes and about processes and things. I'm getting no response. It's a bit disheartening because I do spend a lot of my time, sometimes on the weekend, unasked and, unrequired, but I do it because I'm trying to be helpful. And I get no response, so it's discouraging. We've put a couple of things on the website, trying to provide guides for you guys in preparing minutes and preparing resolutions. The resources that keep being referred to here are on the board members drive that you all have access to. I know some of you have been, and there's some, everything that we refer to, we put in there for you, everything. So if you just go to your committee folder, it'll be there. The latest thing we've been doing, because we have not been consistently getting cooperation in terms of preparing minutes, is we've created a draft minutes folder in each one of your committee folders on the board member drive. So that you can write your minutes, you can finish off your minutes. And then once we have them finalized, we can share them with your committees for approval. But it's been 13 years of this. It's too much. It's clear that members don't want to do minutes. And that's all that can be said. There's nothing else that can be said. You just don't want to do it. And the expectation of the public is that there will be minutes. And frankly, it is very helpful to have minutes. I find it helpful to have minutes, as a staff member, but we just don't get them. Or we don't get them with any predictability. We don't get them in, any kind of time, whether they're useful. I met recently with, our new secretary, Rosa Diaz, we had a nice conversation, and I explained this. If we have minutes, turned around quickly, within a certain predictable amount of time, and we have them posted, members and the public that are interested to know how the committee landed on a particular position or what the committee's recommendation are, can know, but absent that, they don't know. So any complaints that they may levy against the board are well-founded, because we just refuse as a body to provide them minutes in any dependable manner. And I don't know what else to say. It just keeps happening. The staff will do its part. Like I've said at this table before, when the board gets audited, none of you all see it. It's my responsibility. So I'm the one that has to be giving answers to all these audits. So we're gonna do our part so that the staff is covered if and when the next audit comes. But in terms of useful minutes for the public, that's on all of you. And I hope you all can enforce amongst yourselves, because I'm at my wit's end. I don't know how else to say it.
Thank you for mentioning that, Asha.
Just because new to this, when exactly do you want the minutes after the meeting? Like how long?
Ideally within 3 days, so 72 hours.
Alright.
So what the staff has been instructed to do recently is prepare a minutes template, so it'll have your agenda on there, the attendance. And the attendance and the agenda, and all you have to do is fill in your summaries.
Okay, alright, thank you.
Yes.
I think my biggest fear in all of this is not only, the pressure on the staff, but the fact that if we can't do bare minimum things like minutes and show up to our meetings, that they're just gonna get rid of community boards. That's my fear. So what do we need to do to step up and to be the leaders for the rest of the board so that they can step up and we can be an effective body together?
Thank you. Angel, which committees are outstanding?
Respectfully, if you could please direct your members to look at the website and see what the minutes database is. You'll see which minutes are on letterhead, and those are the final ones. You've asked me this before, and I don't want to be non-compliant, but I think it's on the members to be doing this, and you all can enforce on yourselves. So what I've asked the staff to do is not put the minutes on letterhead until they've been approved. So if you look at the last couple of months, you'll notice either that or the box is empty, or you'll see minutes that are bare bones.
Okay.
So if you were to look 4 months ago at X committee and you want to know, I wonder where they landed. And you can't reach Angel for Angel to tell you, you go to those minutes, you're not gonna have anything useful. Like the land use committees missing minutes for
Yes.
months, as an example.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any, so, board members, please make sure, chairs, if you've delegated, follow up with who you delegated it to. 72 hours is the rule. If you're running a little bit behind, then you need to inform staff or someone else who could take them. Jess and I have worked together in the past where if we have time to set up, she'll help me with the draft and I'll go through and refine it. Today's minutes I'm gonna be taking and I've been following along. There, again, set up your tabs, so you have them all open at that time. And I think it'd be important for this February, each committee put on your agenda item to go through this exact issue, the board member resources, show people where things are, what's outstanding. Take that time to re-educate. It's not something you have to do at full board, but it would be good to refresh everyone's memory. And just say exactly what I've laid out. Have your, when you have access to your board member resources, your minutes template, to all of it. Reminding them of the attendance and how it's gonna be, how we're keeping tabs on it. That the best course of action is prevention while we actually get what's shored up from those that have not looked at the minutes. And Angel, I'll take a look at those this weekend, okay? Thank you for registering. Yes.
What happens when you don't have quorum? You just have the attendance sheet, like, you just have like the, what is something, what happened?
Yeah, so if you don't have quorum, there isn't a meeting, so there's no minutes required.
Okay, any questions? With that,
No, I just want to apologize to Andrew for any stress
It's not
that
stressful.
we caused you.
I appreciate that, but it's not stressful. We'll just-
it's funny, once everything's done.
I'm not gonna do that. So, and
So-
3 staff members, so I know it's a lot.
So what Angel's expressing, that they get satisfaction when the work, if I'm not to speak for you, but in a way you get in our conversations. They get satisfaction when the work gets done. It's rewarding to see things happen positively. Go ahead, Angel.
If you were done, I just wanted to mention something. I sat in on a training that Open Plans, this organization, the civic organization did, for people interested in joining community boards. And I'm listening to how they're orienting them and they're giving them such a surface level training. Just putting something, forward for you guys to consider, maybe for the incoming class or people that you're encouraging to join. You as members, take a second and think about how much time you think is appropriate for a member to be dedicating to their work as a community board member, right? Because it is absolutely true that because of previous demands by community boards to get everything, the workload is massive and it's impossible to do it. So it's fair for members to say, well, it's too much, but it's what it is. But new members or people, prospective members, should have an idea of how much time it takes. It isn't 10 minutes, right? It's whatever you guys say. I don't have an idea, but I'm not a member, right? You guys think about it, and then as you're encouraging people, tell them, hey, look, it takes this much time if you're gonna be good at it. And then lastly, there's people on the board in this most recent class that just have not shown up at all, right? Like, they clearly don't have any concept of that they need to attend, that they have to attend, that there's a consequence for them not attending. Maybe somebody somewhere needs to make it clear to them, like, it's not just put your name on a list and be in the way, it's actually show up and, speak and participate.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, are there any other comments or questions?
Is it okay? Sorry, is it okay to like hold members for full or ahead of time to find out if they're coming or not?
Then you may do so.
Oh, okay.
That's,
Yeah, right.
any new business? Seeing none. Do the roll call?
Jose Alonso Morano, Stephanie Arroyo.
Here.
Adem Briha, Rosa Diaz,
Here.
Jessica Elliott, Asha Rodriguez,
Here.
John Green, Giselle Malave,
Here.
Nelson Rama,
Yeah.
Claudia Perez,
Yeah.
Xavier Santiago,
Here,
Isaac Scott. Present. That's one.
meeting adjourned at 7:37. Thank you very much, everyone.